Well, here I am flying solo this evening. I hope that some of you are going to join me. Big Ben it's going to chime 11 times, but in between that and now, I will introduce the show. It is comparing Arsenal players to movie characters. You'll either be listening to this live right now or enjoying it on replay. Get stuck in, have your voice heard. And Big Ben is chiming. Perfect timing. Welcome to the show. I am on my own today, and that feels kind of weird and also good at the same time. I hope you guys are all good. It's not been an easy time for Arsenal fans. So rather than regurgitate a whole bunch of different things and statements and go over and talk about the North London derby again, I thought what might be fun was to infuse some energy and, kind of compare Arsenal players to movie stars. It's not been an easy time. I think that we all are feeling it. We're in 15th position in the Premier League. We just lost to our biggest rivals. It has been nothing more than a nightmare. And we all know that our team needs reinforcements, rebuilding. We're ahead of a Europa League game tomorrow night, which is going to be epic because we've already qualified and we know that we're good in the Europa League. But right now, it's time to have a little bit of fun. So I'm going to start at the very tippy top of the movie character comparison top mountain. But before I do that, hello, Mike. Hello, Junior Gunner. Love you too. Hello, Mask Gunner. I cannot wait, Amesy, to hear all of your feedback on this one. All right. Are you guys ready to roll? I think you are. Okay, so here we go with my first comparison. And what better way to start than with the manager? I thought about this long and hard. At first I had him compared to Miranda Priestley from The Devil Wears Prada because I feel like Mikel's a little bit like a teddy bear with a shotgun. Very well respected, has done good things in the game, but at the same time might be a little bit manipulative in terms of how he wants to get where he wants and how he wants. And maybe he doesn't treat people and manage them in the right way. So I then switched gears and opted to compare him to Michael J. Fox from The Secret of My Success. And you're probably asking why. Okay, let's go here. Michael J. Fox in The Secret of My Success. He came from a small town. Arteta doesn't necessarily come from a super small town. But what he did was the same way as Michael J. Fox. Even though he had friends in high places, he chose to pound the pavement. He chose to work his way up. He elected to not call his super rich uncle and let him know who he was. A little bit like Arteta and Pep, perhaps, even though he did end up with the Arsenal job. But there's something about their undertone and underlying arrogance. This is what I love about Michael J. Fox. He's been like a teddy bear with a shotgun in movies. If you look at some of the characters that he's played, there's this underlying warm and fuzzy character. Even Alex Keaton in Family Ties had this underlying warm and fuzzy character. But yet on the exterior, Michael J. Fox's characters were a little bit ruthless. And I think that's where Mikel Arteta sits with this. Also very ambitious, wants to move on. In The Secret of My Success for a while, Michael J. Fox kind of trod over some people in order to get where he was and wanted to be. But at the end of the day, all ended perfectly and beautifully. He ended up being one of the leaders of the company. And so I'm hoping somehow here that Mikel Arteta follows suit a little bit. And yes, let's have some fun. And you know what? I am in costume. I'm wearing the Arsenal. Let's kiss the badge. Where is it? Other side, because it's a camera. I thought I'd put on the Arsenal shirt tonight just because we're doing a movie comparison. So, this would be good. I should have seen this one coming. Ted Lasso. That would have been really good. I missed that boat completely. But yeah. Guendouzi would be an over-dramatized, low-budget soap opera actor. I can see that as well. That's very, very good. Okay. Amesy says she thinks it's going to be a bit hard. I agree, but I do like the Ted Lasso too. Arteta, Magnificent Seven, Steve McQueen, scene stealing from Yul Brynner. I like that. Very, very ambitious. Okay, so here we're going to go to, let's start from the back to the front, shall we? Are you guys ready for this one? Okay, Leno. Here's why I chose Spider-Man. But not just Spider-Man, kind of the superhero Spider-Man down the road. I'm talking about Spider-Man when he first discovers his superheroes, like Tobey Maguire in the original movies. He was bitten by the spider, and then all of a sudden he kind of starts discovering these weird things about himself, these superhero aspects about himself. Doesn't quite know how to use them properly, but eventually you know that he will come to fruition and understand how all of these mechanics work for him. So for me, Leno is a very amateur Spider-Man. And also, he does defend a net, okay? So in essence, Leno and a young Spider-Man, to me, made complete sense. So I'm not sure how you feel about that one. I'll try and get to good evening, Kay Marlon. Mike Hertz is loving the Spider-Man. Mr. Fantastic, long stretch. No, Sophie, I'm Spider-Man, says Alex McCarthy. Sure, fine. Let's keep this moving along. All right, you guys, are you ready? Kieran Tierney. I wonder if you'll guess this one. To me, he is Sam from Lord of the Rings. And here's why. For so long in Lord of the Rings, okay, you would have, Frodo as the hero and stuff. And, Sam was really kind of underrated in so many ways. But yet, if you kind of look, and I'm going to combine these two because I have Tierney as Sam and I have Bellerin as Fredo. And here's why. And if you look at the two of them together, all cozy and comfy. Frodo, sorry. I was thinking Fredo, Godfather. That's a whole other conversation that we're going to get to later on in the show. But Frodo was so, I think, weak sauce. I think Bellerin's weak sauce. I think he has the hope and he has the humanity aspect in him and he wants to do good. But in terms of getting to the end result and the journey, I think that he really struggles. And so he needs Sam, i.e. Tierney, to help him get there. And I think Tierney has been kind of, leading the way, showing him how to wear his pants up. He's copied him in terms of how he wears his shorts in games and in training and everything. And really, if you kind of look at Lord of the Rings and you go watch it back, Frodo is really annoying. He's really inconsistent. He doesn't make good decisions and he kind of lets you down in the end. So this is why I go for Tierney as Sam, who really is the unsung hero in that story. And Bellerin is Frodo, who's a little bit weak sauce, but somehow the two of them together come together, are good friends and make things work. So that's how I feel about Tierney and Bellerin when it comes to film movie comparisons. Calamity Jane, I can get that. No way Bellerin isn't Zoolander. Did someone mention Zoolander at the top? I'm on my own today, so I'm trying to manage all of this stuff. Xhaka is the cowardly lion from The Wizard of Oz. We'll get to Xhaka. Leno, the good German, because the others aren't. Captain America, Bellerin, Calamity Jane. We saw that from Mike on Zoolander. I love this, guys. You guys. But also, he tried to help. Schmeagol likes it. Who's the guy that says that? I mean, Frodo kind of had a mixed bag. And so he was tortured a little bit during the whole Lord of the Rings thing. But we will get to Ozil as well in a little bit. Okay, so let's carry this on. You guys ready for a little bit more? We're going to get to Gabriel now. This one might be a little bit obvious. But for me, he's stolen the mantle as Black Panther from Aubameyang. Aubameyang needs to earn that stripe again because he's been lackluster. But for me, Gabriel has come in for some Arsenal fans from, a place unknown, a place that is mysterious. That's Liga, by the way, and yet has settled in and has applied himself and dedicated himself and shown that he is a fighter. He is a grinder. He wants to be a hero and he has so many gifts and so many aspects of his game that we haven't even seen yet. And even in a very troubling time and an inferior setup and with not as many supporting cast around him, is shining. And so for me right now in this team, I don't think you could argue that Gabriel is Blank Panther. You guys might enjoy this one. We'll see. But when I was thinking of David Luiz, the first thing that popped into my mind was Uncle Rico from Napoleon Dynamite. Uncle Rico has all of the attributes of being someone who is, I don't know, successful, but somehow he is a little hapless, right? And he also has that tendency to try and oversell something, a little bit like David Luiz in a game where he's trying to push, he's trying to probe, he tries to overdo things, he tries to oversell things. And a little bit like Uncle Rico, you're kind of embarrassed after a little while when he's in a room with your friends and he's pushing some type of dodgy product. And David Luiz himself, I think, kind of does that in games. And you want to believe in him and you want to love him, and you kind of do, because he is a bit hapless. And yet somehow there's always this question mark. And yes, like Uncle Rico in the past, he had success. But now in this part of life, he's trying to promote and push something that perhaps he isn't. I'm glad that Nadine is feeling the Gabriel comparison. We got Mike comparing Gabriel to Hulk. I missed the boat on this one. That would have been really good. Ozil as the invisible man. And I agree with you, Amesy. I love it too. It's always, that's a lot of fun right there. That's a good one. So David Luiz is Uncle Rico from Napoleon Dynamite. You kind of love him, even though you know every now and again he's going to screw up. All right, so we go to Rob Holding. Is he Hugh Grant? Is he Hugh Grant in any movie? I think he might be. But he's kind of like, is it Will, the character in Notting Hill? You know, he's very comfortable in his position. He loves his environment, enjoys what he does. And at the same time, if he ventures out a little bit, he's prone to some accidents and mistakes, hence the orange juice, you know, spillage on Julia Roberts. And then he's trying to kind of, you know, make up for it and fix it along the way. Yet we all believe in him and we love him and we want him to succeed and we want to champion him and we want him to get to the pinnacle of where it is he wants to go. So for me, when I was looking at this and looking at, you know, Rob Holding in particular, I was thinking to myself, Hugh Grant, you love him, you root for him, but yet you don't quite know where he's going. And I think that was the big thing for me with Rob Holding. So Hugh Grant, Rob Holding, not sure if you agree with that. Rodney Trotter. That's a good TV comparison, Newman. I like that. And so does W like that. And I think a lot of people enjoy that. So Rob Holding as Rodney Trotter. We could have been millionaires. Maybe that's something that he would say as well to his friends. Now, here's one that you might find interesting. I'm moving to Granit Xhaka. All right, you guys ready for this one? Now, Granit Xhaka is a very polarizing figure. And you guys might find a surprise in terms of who I've chosen for Granit Xhaka. But I believe this character, and you guys know that I'm a huge supporter of Granit Xhaka. I adore him completely. And he's a great human being. And I met him, as I've said many times here in Los Angeles. He seemed like a leader to me. He's done great things and a very polarizing figure. How many polarizing figures do Arsenal actually have in their team? One of the biggest frauds in movie history, Harry Potter. That's right. I said it out loud. Harry Potter. Harry Potter is not as smart as he thinks. He makes a lot of mistakes, and sometimes those mistakes have devastating consequences. And a lot of the times, you guys, Harry Potter is bailed out by his very, very good friends who lead him onto other incredibly life-saving projects or things. But yet Harry Potter, how smart really is Harry Potter? And so when I was thinking about Granit Xhaka, I was thinking, wow, that little kid Harry Potter is not as smart as people think. And Granit Xhaka sometimes isn't as smart as he thinks. So for me, I was thinking that, Xhaka falls into the Harry Potter character. Alex, hold on, Alex. Borat. Okay, let me just go back up because I'm gonna have to find some of these comments that you're making. Xhaka is Mr. Bean. I like that. I'm laughing my ass off too. Mars Gunner says that Granit Xhaka would be the Titanic, as in the ship. Granit is Hawkeye from the Avengers, surrounded by superheroes, and all he can offer are arrows. And then W is stealing the Mr. Bean idea and attributing it to Mustafi. You know what? I miss Mustafi on my list because you know why? He's the real Invisible Man. All right, we move on to our next character. You might enjoy this one. It was a tough one because at first I thought to myself, Danny Ceballos was Maverick from Top Gun. A little bit arrogant, misfire, didn't really know how to communicate with people, got into unnecessary fights. So really it was a toss-up between Maverick from Top Gun and this guy. That's right, Dirty Harry. I think we've seen a little bit of Dirty Ceballos in the last few weeks. First, he wants to pull punches on Eddie. And the next thing we're seeing is that he wants to get into fights with David Luiz. That's right, Uncle Rico himself from Napoleon Dynamite, David Luiz. Ceballos has definitely a little bit of a screw loose, a little bit like Dirty Harry. Both very good at their jobs, both know what they're doing. But at the same time, if they're just edged a little bit, they have this fuse, a very short fuse that just completely goes off. So for me, Danny Ceballos has a little bit of that go ahead punk, make my day. And I'm wondering if he said that in Spanish to Eddie and David Luiz before he went for them. Okay, moving on. Now, this one's a good one. All right, because I had so many for this guy, so many movie heroes. And if you can just take a minute to digest out of this entire list, who's a hero, who's a villain, who's a weakling, who's a friend, who's a foe, all of that stuff, right? For me, Thomas Partey is Michael Clark Duncan from The Green Mile, okay? He's John Coffey. Now, John Coffey was sent to prison, to jail, as an innocent man. And you could argue that Thomas Partey has been sent to jail and Arsenal is his jail. And he is the innocent man. Yet we are expecting miracles from this man. We are expecting performances. We're expecting him to save us. Hell, when he signed for us, we thought that he was going to be the savior, right? And in the end, there's part of him that has become a savior and now we've lost him. But John Coffey was the guy who started performing miracles, one over the other. And everyone started to believe in this fella. And so for me, Thomas Partey has the essence of John Coffey, and he has the miracle potential cures, but yet so much has been put on him as he enters this jail called the Arsenal. We believe in Thomas Partey. We believe the miracles will come, and hopefully they'll allow him to settle and recover from this injury so he can be cured himself, because who else will cure Thomas Partey other than himself and his character, John Coffey? Let's see what you guys are thinking of. I love it. You guys are enjoying this. Partey, that's on point. I like it. Maximus, that would have been good. That's a good one, Pramod. I love that one. Partey is king of Wakanda, always takes the high road and a true leader. Tashi thinks that we're talking facts here. I love it. You guys are getting totally stuck in. Partey is the Terminator. I'm not sure if he's the Terminator. I did have a Terminator character in here and then I deleted it. And I'll tell you why a little bit later on. Ceballos is John Travolta in Pulp Fiction. Oh my God, I love these, you guys. You're doing a great job. I was all prepped and ready to say Oba is the invisible man, and someone jumped in and gave it to Ozil. Don't worry, we have Oba covered coming right up. Xhaka is Forrest Gump. Xhaka is Jack Cousteau. I used to love those movies, by the way, the Pink Panther movies. They were awesome. All right, here's a good one for you. Let's see if you agree with this one. Joe Willock. Hot dang diggity dog. Is he Will Smith from Independence Day? And here's why. Here's why I say this. Will Smith, his character in Independence Day, he's well trained, he's well spoken, he looks out for others, he tries to drive people forward even when the task looks impossible for him. And a little bit like Paul Willock, when he has to play with Willian, in those moments where he needs support and he needs someone to be galactical and fight evil with him, some people are just too slow. And Willian is that guy, right? So Willock, in essence, takes the mantle. He tries to fight. He tries to do the right thing. And despite the odds, is always willing to give it a shot. So I picked Willock as Willock with Will Smith from Independence Day. And just like Willock, just like Will Smith in Independence Day, I do think that Joe Willock will have his day in the sun, where he lights the big fat cigar and he's celebrating and kissing the badge for all Arsenal fans to appreciate. All right, here we go. Next one. Who's this? It's Prince Akeem from Coming to America. And the one player that comes to mind is a nice, sweet, supportive player. He looks left. He looks to his right. He wants to be better. He also passes left and passes right, and sometimes it's not better. But ultimately, he's willing to do the grunt work, just like Prince Akeem did to prove his love to the woman that he desired when he worked in the fast food restaurant. Elneny is willing to jump in after being the forgotten man and being sent on loan, just like Prince Akeem was to the fast food restaurant. He is willing to do the grunt work for Arsenal because he loves playing for Arsenal. And he, in essence, has a little bit of that Egyptian prince about him. So Elneny is my vote as Prince Akeem from Coming to America. I mean, I love that movie. What do you mean Willock ain't cool? What? Louise is Mary Poppins? I'd go with Jay from Men in Black, a rookie, learns on the job, gives all. You know, I had Jay from Men in Black for Willock, and then I switched it out. And Mike, thank you. Can't think of a better one for Elneny. An Arsenal misfit, sure, fine. If we were doing combos, maybe that's the follow-up show to this one. We would do the Three Stooges. All right, here we go. We're moving on to the next one, everybody. I wonder if you know who this guy is. Oh, yeah. Dun, 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 dun. From Star Wars, Finn. He's fresh. He still doesn't have any cynicism in him. He believes in something greater than himself. His youth inspires hope. He's fearless. He's ready to be the leading man. He's a new breed of hero. And just like Finn, let's hope he doesn't want to leave the First Order, i.e. Arsenal, for a new challenge. Ladies and gentlemen, Bakary, this is Bakary. This is Saka. Finn is Saka. He is full of all of that young hubris, fearlessness. He puts himself out there. He's unafraid. He's willing to take on new challenges. He's willing to put himself out there. And at the same time, he understands his vulnerabilities and he takes them on, but yet he believes in something greater than himself. So for me, Saka is Finn from the new Star Wars stuff. Let me know if you agree with that, because it was Xhaka is R2D2. That's fine. Saka, yes. Saka is Finn. There is a new hope about him. And I think that he provides this ability to give Arsenal fans hope for the future. And so that's why I chose Finn for Saka. All right, you guys might enjoy this one. Are you ready? Pepe. Pepe is finding Nemo. He's lost. He's got no direction. He's looking for friends along the way to help him find his way. He's a little bit naive, but yet inside, deep down inside, there's a little bit of a fighter in Pepe. And that fighter is filled with hope, and that he can bring people and other fish together if he wanted to. He does need to avoid the sharks around him, but Pepe is a man lost at sea right now. And Nemo was a little fish lost at sea. But like Nemo, he found himself. And I do believe that we all believe, given the chance, given a run in the team, given the great supporting cast, given that confidence, that man management, that arm around the shoulders to say, son, you are going to be fine. You will be just safe. Nothing's ever going to happen to you. Pepe, just like Nemo, can find his way home. Come on. Pepe as Nemo. Okay. Here's one that might be a rewind for some of you, and I'm not sure if you've watched this movie, but most of you might know about Lethal Weapon. Willian. For me, he's Roger Murtaugh. Roger Murtaugh and Riggs were a great duo. One of the greatest all-time movie combos and duos. Great charisma, great camaraderie, great teamwork. A little bit like Oba and Lacazette really last season. But here we are now with Willian, and for me, he's Richard Murtaugh. He's protecting his retirement. As you know, in the Lethal Weapon movies, Murtaugh was wanting to keep things cool, keep things safe. He didn't want to put foot wrong because it led to danger and that would hinder his retirement. And Willian reminds me a little bit of Murtaugh in a lot of ways. One minute you think he's truly a lethal weapon, and the next thing, his ultimate goal is getting that desk job and cashing in on his old man checks. So for me, Willian is Murtaugh from Lethal Weapon. Now, we move on to this man. Our captain, our knight in shining armor, our leader last year, the man whose goals kept us up and kept us flying. That is Aubameyang. For me, Aubameyang this season is Del Spooner. That is Will Smith in I, Robot. He's lost hope. He's got no belief. He fears change. He questions everything going on around him. He's lost his lust for life. He's got no energy. And then he's given a roadmap to fight for a bigger cause, a greater cause than himself. And a little bit like Del Spooner, Arsenal need to renew Oba's faith and show him the roadmap to believing again. The Arsenal players are robots. Some of the Arsenal players are robots around Will Smith's character, are robots around Aubameyang. And the same thing in iRobot. Will Smith had to deal with all of these artificial, fake, mass-produced, suggested future humans. And just like that, Aubameyang needs a roadmap to hope, a better future. What do you guys think about that? Let's go back to the comments right now. He's a weapon, all right. Oh, we're talking about, let's go back here. Pepe's drowning and Arteta's keeping his foot on his head. That's right. Nemo perfect for Pepe, head, but incoming. Pepe is Charlie from Always Sunny in Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I like that show because you never know what he's going to do next. Let's go back to a few of your other comments. Cronky is Jabba the Hutt. Saka is Static Shock, Humble AF. And oh, okay, fine. At the moment, they're reminding me of the Keystone Cops, a joke. I think that's a little generic comment about where the team is and where the players are. Oba would be John McClane from Die Hard. The odds seem impossible, but he'll find a way. I like that one, Mike. But, you know, John McClane came in tough. He came in hard. I think the Will Smith character in iRobot, he's got those vulnerabilities right now and he's got to overcome them. But yeah, Oba can still be Will Smith no matter what the time and day is, because he has that element of cool about him. All right, let's keep going here. This one might be a stretch for you guys, but let's see. Let's see how we go with this one. This is Axel Foley. When I was growing up, Beverly Hills Cop was one of the coolest films in the land. And just like Axel Foley, Lacazette reminds me of his hubris, his smile. He reminds me that, like Axel Foley, who left his Detroit police department, was unappreciated, underappreciated, and needed something a little bit more to keep him excited about his job. He wanted to shine under brighter lights. So Lacazette left Lyon to shine under brighter lights, supposedly at Arsenal. And it hasn't gone too right for him yet. But both had to really prove themselves to be taken seriously. Both are underestimated in their ability to get results. Now, Axel Foley got there in the end. And I do believe, just like Axel Foley, Lacazette will regain his smile again. He'll prove to everybody that doesn't appreciate him. He'll show his way. He'll show that he can solve crimes, i.e. matches, and contribute to all of that. So for me, Lacazette is Axel Foley from Beverly Hills Cop. Agree or disagree? You guys let me know. Listen, there's a lot of stuff that I had Axel Foley as, actually, I had Lacazette as Reese from Terminator at the beginning of when I was doing all of this. And Reese, I felt like, was that character, that original character in Terminator, where he came from, the future, back to the future, call it what you want. He protected Sarah Connor. He didn't really get too much credit for it. It was a bit underappreciated. He kind of saved the world and no one really recognized him for it. And a little bit like Lacazette sometimes, he does stuff off the ball and things that we don't really see because we expect him to just score an abundance of goals, and therefore he doesn't really get appreciated for it. So maybe I should have stuck with my original Terminator comparison, because now I'm thinking about it, might be a little bit better than Axel Foley, because Axel Foley maybe has a little bit more of that arrogance. Okay, here we go. Back to the list. This guy, Creed. That's right. That's actually, it's Maitland-Niles. He has a point to prove. He wants to fight to make people believe in him. Creed was in the shadow of his dad. Maitland-Niles in the shadow of a lot of Arsenal players. Become the jack of all trades, master of none, gets played everywhere. But yet really his preferred position is midfield. And like Creed, he's trying to prove himself, even though he's shown that he has the pedigree, the lineage, but yet somehow he's not given the chance. And so Maitland-Niles always has to fight for his cause. And yet when he does, he comes on and he's a cool customer. He buries a penalty as cool as a cucumber. And he's always trying to have to prove himself over and over again. And I think he's got that bravado of Creed, that understated confidence. He's definitely got the character and the likability factor where you can root for him. And so that's why I voted for Maitland-Niles as Creed. All right, I'm going to go back to some of your comments right now. Creed, I like that. He is a dead ringer for Thierry Henry. I agree. Couldn't think of a better one for Maitland-Niles. Thank you, Pramod. I like that, Ray. I do think he has that similarity in the characters. He did smile when he was on the pitch. Maybe he was channeling his inner Axel Foley from Beverly Hills Cop. Who knows? Willian, show me the money. Oh, yes. That's right. That's a good one. I like that. Willian, show me the money. We're going to get to him. I did him. Roger Murtaugh, remember? Show me the money too in retirement, though. I actually had him as the guy from Wolf of Wall Street to begin with. Kind of a little bit fake. Sell me this pen. I feel like he's still trying to sell a pen to Arsenal fans. Yeah, all of these penny saver stocks, i.e. what he earned at Chelsea, earned him the ability to sit at the table and negotiate with other teams where he can make more money, right? So here we are, stuck with him. Yes. Lacazette is George Bailey from It's a Wonderful Life because his existence in our squad makes everybody better. That's lovely. Very warm and fuzzy. This is a little unfair, isn't it? Shrek? Lacazette? Shrek? Willian is also Raul Silva, James Bond in Skyfall. That's a little bit harsh, isn't it? Seems a little devilish. All right, let's get to the good one here, because this one was really difficult for me to choose from. You're listening to the Highbury Squad right here, flying solo tonight, doing something fun for everyone, where we're comparing Arsenal players to movie characters. And this is my choice. I'd love for you to share yours if you're listening on replay. Get stuck in, put it in the comments. Let rip. I think I've been a bit polite, to be honest with you. Not too many villains here. Maybe not enough heroes, but I don't think Arsenal players deserve that heroic tag just now. But there's something in between and a little bit for everybody. Now, this guy who is probably the most polarizing figure in all of Arsenal history, I think you would agree, is Ozil. And for me, he's Patch Adams. Have you guys seen the movie Patch Adams? First, I had him down actually as Cal Hockley. Do you guys know that character? Cal Hockley is the guy from Titanic. And, you know, Cal Hockley comes across as regal. He has a stature. He takes care of everyone, financially. But deep down, he's got this dark streak, a manipulative, controlling, duplicitous character that he uses to his advantage to survive on the Titanic when the ship's going down. And my original analysis was the Arsenal ship's going down and Mr. Ozil, i.e. Cal Hockley, is doing what he can to survive and make himself look good. But I thought that was a little bit too harsh, even though I've now announced it online and live on air. I changed it. Patch Adams. He helps people. He has a sense of humanity. He has an idea of what he wants to do to be innovative in helping people across all cultures and around the earth, but especially kids. But at the end of the day, Patch Adams was also looked at as a bit of a clown. That's because he played the clown with the red nose and everything. So for me, Mesut Ozil is Patch Adams. Now, there's a lot of, you could say Dr. Evil for Mesut Ozil. You could pick any James Bond villain. You could also pick any hero. He's so polarizing, there's going to be a split opinion. Who's on one side, who's on the other? Who believes that Ozil's a good guy? Who believes that Ozil is a bad guy? This one's a bit harsh. You know, Bernie Madoff was a huge fraud. This one's even harsher. He ended up being a murderer. Just saying. Never saw Patch Adams. You're lucky. I actually worked on that movie when I worked at Columbia Pictures. I did have the pleasure of looking after Robin Williams, which was a lot of fun and an amazing experience of a lifetime. But unfortunately, the movie wasn't that great. Alex McCarthy says Oba is Bruce Wayne and Batman. I like that a lot. You've got the juxtaposition of the two characters, their personalities. You know, one is kind of forlorn and tortured and hurt. And, you know, Batman, even though he feels those things, he comes out as a fighter. You know, he always believes that he can take on and beat and defeat anybody. So I do like that. Ozil's Goldfinger, old school. I dig that. Goldfinger was probably one of the craziest of all the Bond villains. So yeah. And I think that you know, Ozil's always going to be that super polarizing figure, whereby, you know, he's always dividing opinion. Okay, that's it. Who did I miss? Tell me what plays I missed. And by the way, you guys never see me wearing an Arsenal shirt, so here I am. Here's the badge. It's on this side. It's camera. I'm going to kiss it. I'm going to kiss it because I mean it, unlike some players who have kissed it and don't mean it. Who have I missed? Stan and Josh. I like this. Steptoe and Son. That's a good one. We could also do a little bit of Steptoe and Son. There's a lot of the comedian acts in the 80s from the UK. Newman, I don't know if you're from the UK or from the US. You got Morecambe and Wise. You've got Cannon and Ball. You've got all of those kind of old comedic duos. What was the guy who had the puppet that kept talking? Orville. Do you remember that? Do you remember that geezer? That was crazy. A green. We were captivated by him on Saturday evenings. Stuck his hand literally up a green puppet's arse and spoke to us for an hour, and we were all engaged and entertained by it. So you could argue, yes, that could be a member of the Arsenal board. Rod Hull and Emu, that was the guy I was thinking of too. Emu. I used to have an emu on my bed in the 80s. What kid in England growing up did not have an emu on the bed? Now, Ceballos, I did say, was Mike, was Dirty Harry. You know, he's got a lot of smarts about him, but he's got this kamikaze attitude where he just kind of screws up every now and again because he lets that fuse go pop completely. I'm not leaving. No, I haven't signed a new contract. I'm not leaving. I will kiss the badge again just to prove it. I mean it. There we go. I did do Arteta. I said Arteta was Michael J. Fox from The Secret of My Success. You can go back and listen to it. But Adu, let's do that one together, everyone. Everyone jump in right now and let me know what you think about Adu. Because if we're talking about Adu who played, I think it's a little bit different to Adu who's now kind of in charge, you know, in an executive position. You could argue, is he Michael Douglas from Wall Street? Greed is good. Or is that Josh Kroenke? Greed is good. Or Stan Kroenke? Might be. One of the greatest lines in movie history. One of the greatest villainesque characters, yet likable characters in movie history. Although the Kroenkes are not as likable, really, are they? Runnelson's too new for me. Cedric, he's not been there long enough. I mean, some of these guys I left out because I was like, you know, I stuck with the regular guys. Now, Guendouzi and Torreira, they don't get a mention because they're not at the club anymore. And this would have been a good one too. I had Kieran Tierney, as you know, as Sam from Lord of the Rings, but the groundskeeper Willie, humble, authentic, and tough. I think carrying that Tesco bag has garnered him some coupons with Arsenal fans, a little bit like how Arteta has garnered coupons with Arsenal fans after his FA Cup win. All right, well, that's it. That's what I've got. So let's just do a recap, and then everyone who's in chat can think about this and add it to the YouTube group. Everybody who is listening on replay, you can call and write and tell me that I'm crazy. I just wanted to bring you a different show tonight. I didn't want to talk about the North London Derby again. Didn't want to talk about tactics. Didn't want to talk about team choices for Europa League. We've already qualified. We know we're good in Europa League. I just thought we needed a little bit of fun and a little bit of sunshine to just forget the fact that we're 15th in the Premier League. We lost to Tottenham at the weekend. We've already lost 6 games in the Premier League. But yet, if we look at the Man United model from last year, we can live in hope that we could find our way back in the top 5 or 4 of the Premier League by the end of the season. So we've got Mikel Arteta, who is Michael J. Fox from The Secret of My Success. We've got Leno, who's a young Spidey. Doesn't quite know what to do with that, keeping things out of that net. We've got Tierney, who is Sam from Lord of the Rings, basically saves Frodo's arse left, right, and centre. And the two of them together, let's face it, Tierney's shown Bellerin how to pull his pants up and really is the hero in this duo. Frodo, like Bellerin, kind of like foul throws all over the place, if we're being honest. We've got Gabriel as Black Panther. We've got David Luiz as Uncle Rico from Napoleon Dynamite. Bit of a character, bit of a salesman. One minute you believe in what he's selling, the next minute you don't. We've got Rob Holding as Hugh Grant in Notting Hill. Bit hapless. You root for him just when you think he's found direction, when really it looks like he doesn't have too much ambition. You kind of lose hope again. But you like him so much that you want to believe in him over and over and over. Xhaka is Harry Potter. Biggest fraud in cinematic hero history. Harry Potter's relied on his friends. He makes so many mistakes that have put his friends in jeopardy. It's led to lives being challenged and total disaster. But yet Harry's the hero. Really? Come on. Ceballos is Dirty Harry. Enough said. Party is John Coffey from the Green Mile. Already performing miracles, so much hope. He's been sent to a jail now known as Arsenal. And here he finds himself trying to perform miracles and help all those around him. Willock, Will Smith from Independence Day. This one was maybe the most polarizing. Some people felt like Willock was more the Will Smith character from Men in Black. Let me know what you think. Elneny, he's Prince Akeem from Coming to America. For those reasons stated. Saka is Finn from Star Wars. A new hope, a new breed of hero, a new face, change. Everything that gives you the ability to believe in something greater than yourself, even when you put yourself in the mix as well. So I like that one. I think that's one of my favorites. Pepe's Nemo, a lost soul at sea, trying to find himself. Willian's Murtaugh from Lethal Weapon, retirement, just trying to milk it and get to the end as quickly as he can. Aubameyang is Will Smith from iRobot. Little lost on his journey, doesn't really believe in the roadmap that's being presented to him and is trying to find his way through a new change and a sea of change and a place that he's been displaced from. So he's trying to find himself and believe in himself again. Lacazette is Axel Foley. He's got the smile, he's got the confidence, he's got all the bravado, but at the same time, he's underappreciated and he's got to prove himself over and over again, despite the results that he's been getting. That is Lacazette. Maitland-Niles is Creed. He's got the pedigree. He's always got to fight in the shadow of someone else. Creed fought in the shadow of his father, and Maitland-Niles has got to fight for a place in the shadow of other Arsenal players. And sometimes those other Arsenal players don't deserve it as much as he does. And Ozil, I changed it from the evil guy in Titanic to Patch Adams, because as long as he's a bit of a hero, yes, but he's also a bit of a clown. And that's it. That's it. That is the show. That is my choices for comparing Arsenal players to movie characters. I'm going to run through these before I let you go. Willian is Murtaugh. I like that you agree with it. I did miss Martinelli and Nketiah. Saliba doesn't play. Kolasinac, I think we all agree, is the dude from Eastern Promises. There's a fight in the shower. Actually, an actor friend of mine, and a guest on this show before, Tamer Hassan, is the guy that fights Viggo Mortensen in the shower in Eastern Promises. Pick any movie that there's a fight scene in, and Kolasinac is that guy. Martinelli, to me, is Bruce Lee. He's nimble, you know, especially when he first came out. He was bright. He was different. He came with a lot of uniqueness. But yet when you see him and he projects himself, there's this hope, and he's transformed his body now to look much more built up. He's taken care of it. So throwing this last one in the ring, the 11th hour, Martinelli for me is Bruce Lee. Nketiah, I'm not sure about Nketiah. I'm going to have to think about that one. He's kind of like is there a good teddy bear character, like a really good character that you just want to hug over and over again? To me, Nketiah, I want to protect and wrap up in cotton wool and put on the windowsill and just never, ever let him get hurt ever again. Maybe he's the dude from Toy Story, the cowboy. My mind's drawing a blank right now in remembering his name. We've got Kolasinac as Inspector Gadget. We've got Xhaka as Inspector Clouseau. And I'm glad you guys have enjoyed it too. Thank you so much, Mask Gunner. Thank you, Newman. I've just really enjoyed kind of, you know, doing something a little bit different. One of the most polarizing characters ever in Star Wars history, Jar Jar Binks. I had the pleasure on working on these Star Wars movies. And trust me, Jar Jar Binks was like blew everyone's minds apart. They hated him. I don't think there's been a more hated character in movie history than Jar Jar Binks. So, yeah. Thank you so much for Woody. Yes, thank you, Mask Gunner. Woody in Toy Story. That is the one. So yeah, but thank you so much. Now I think Martinelli is our Van Helsing. Oh, I like that. Gosh, we're going deep now. We're going to have to do a part 2. Just like in true Hollywood fashion, we're going to have to do a part 2 of this show. I really appreciate you joining in. I look forward to seeing everyone's follow-ups. I expect everyone, right, in this chat that's been with me tonight, I want you to get onto the YouTube channel and give me your when you sit down and you think about it a little bit more, your comparisons. This is fun. It's been nice to just kind of take a step back and move away from some of the stuff that's going on at the club and where we're at. And, you know, we know that we're in a serious position in the league, but football is fun and it's still okay for us to enjoy ourselves and have a bit of a laugh as well. So guess what? I'm not going to do that. That will get me in trouble. Thank you so much, Nadine. I'm so happy you enjoyed it, and you too, Ray, as well. And Pramod, thank you as well. Maybe I'll do this tomorrow night or when the two are actually on the show so they can also defend themselves and tell me what character they think I am too. The show returns tomorrow night. Guess what we're doing? More homework for you. Ready? So not only do I want you to go to the YouTube channel and share your comparisons, but tomorrow night, Kevin Campbell's back. And we've got Dan Potts from Same Old Arsenal. And guess what we're doing, folks? We're dreaming big. We're not looking back in the rearview mirror anymore. I only use the rearview mirror to check my lipstick. So we're moving forward and we're going to put together our top 5 transfer targets and who we want to sell in this window. But it has to be realistic. So top 5 transfer markets, top 5 transfers that we can make, whether it's a loan deal or whether it's a budgetary transfer, and who we want to ship out, whether it's a loan deal or the same. So I want you to kind of think about that. We're going to be back tomorrow night at 8 o'clock UK time for that show as well. So yes, please hit the likes, and thank you everyone for joining this evening. It has been a lot of fun hanging out with you. I appreciate it very much. And I'm so happy that you guys had a little bit of fun too. In this world, in this life, in this time, we can all use a little bit of a laugh and we can all use a little bit of escapism. Tomorrow, we go back to the real business. Get your top 5 transfers thinking. Make sure you get stuck into chat. Go to the YouTube channel. Give us a like. Give us your comments. And until then, I will see you at 8 o'clock tomorrow night. Lots of love to everyone, no matter where in the world you are. And don't forget, always Arsenal.